What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports, back again with another one. Man, I was on ESPN.com the other night, man, and I was on the boxing page, and I was looking through the schedule, man, and I ran across Dillian Whyte versus Alexander Povetkin. Going to take place August 22nd, live from Eddie Hearn's backyard. And I was looking at the broadcast that was going to show the fight. Didn't see DAZN. Saw Sky Sports Online is going to be the broadcast from the UK. Not Sky Sports pay-per-view, but Sky Sports Online. Interesting. You know, the Dillian Whyte's last few fights have been shown by DAZN. You know, DAZN hasn't been on the bandwagon of Dillian Whyte really from the get-go. You notice when Dillian Whyte was in the running to fight Anthony Joshua, when he settled on fighting Gerald Big Baby Miller before Gerald Big Baby Miller popped dirty and he ended up fighting Andy Ruiz. You know, they were allegedly negotiating a fight between Anthony Joshua and Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte was not happy with the money that was offered, so he didn't take the fight. But I was hearing through the grapevine that DAZN didn't really care for that fight anyway. They wanted Anthony Joshua to fight a fighter from the U.S. So DAZN hasn't really been on the bandwagon as far as they haven't been a believer in Dillian Whyte's star power from the get-go. And this is another case showing that. You know, now Dillian Whyte is, to me, there ain't no doubt about it, should be to everyone, the second top dog at Matchroom Boxing. It's Anthony Joshua number one, and Dillian Whyte number two. He does decent pay-per-view numbers over there in the UK. Now, the problem is he's not known anywhere outside of the UK. He doesn't have a name outside of the UK. That's why it's hard for him to get the big fight that he's been asking for. He's not a draw outside of the UK. That's why when you heard Bob Arum came out and said, hey, we're not going to be wasting our time with these mandatories, you know, Dillian Whyte will bring in the same numbers that Otto Waller brought in when he fought Tyson Fury. We're not interested in fighting guys that don't have the marketability, don't have the profile here in the United States. Dillian Whyte was up in arms, and the UK fans were up in arms. Give Dillian Whyte his shot. Dillian Whyte's been the number one, the mandatory for 1,000 days. Give him his shot. Give him his chance. He deserves it. And you know what? You're right. He does deserve it. And if he gets by Alexander Povetkin, he should get the shot at the WBC champion. He should get the shot at the Wilder Fury 3 winner. No doubt about it. He should get the shot. You know, I'm ready. He's been bitching and moaning and crying and stuff like that, saying he deserved the fight. He should get a title shot. Give him his title shot. And WBC, therefore, has stated that he should get his shot. He will get his shot by February of 2021. Now, that date is in question for the simple fact that Fury Wilder 3 is going to take place December 19th. And the front runner is Las Vegas in the new Las Vegas Raiders football stadium, Aztec Stadium. So I don't think they're going to be able to turn around and fight Dillian Whyte in February. So they will actually have to push that fight back to the spring of 2021. But he still should be the next in line for the win of that fight. But the problem that Dillian Whyte has is he's just not a draw. He's not a draw. That's why DAZN ain't picked up this Povetkin fight. It's a decent fight. It's the best fight of this Matchroom Boxing fight camp that Eddie Hearn is putting on. But he's just not a draw outside the UK. You know, you hear Barry Hearn, a.k.a. Papa Hearn, as I call him, out here talking about Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder 2 didn't make no money, didn't draw, and the purses each fighter is going to demand in the trilogy is going to make the fight lose a lot of money, or make the fight not make the money just like it didn't make the money in the second fight. Making all these innuendos and all these lies, and ain't looked at the books, ain't looked at the books of the PBC books of the fight, or the top ranked books of what the fight produced. And anybody that knows boxing knows that the cutoff point for pay-per-views in the United States, not the UK where you guys put on pay-per-view fights, but the United States pay-per-view, if you get to 250, you got to get to at least 250,000 to break even. Anything over 250,000, you're going to show a profit. That fight did 850,000, so it did show a profit. Did a $17 million live gate, Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, the rematch. So the fight made money. So don't listen to Barry Hearn, a.k.a. Papa Hearn, and Eddie Hearn co-signing that Wilder Fury 2 didn't make money. And in the meantime, your second top fighter under Matchroom Boxing, Dillian Whyte, you can't even get your top broadcaster, your top network that put on all your fights here in the United States to pick up Dillian Whyte. DAZN hasn't even picked up Dillian Whyte, and this ain't even the first time. It was a couple of fights ago. I think Dillian Whyte was fighting. I think the Jerry Chisora rematch. DAZN was, they didn't pick up that fight right away. Right before the fight, maybe a couple of days, or maybe a week before the fight, or maybe a week or two before the fight, DAZN finally picked up the rights. What took them so long to pick up that fight? They should have picked up that fight right from the get-go. Dillian Whyte is the number 2 fighter up under Matchroom Boxing behind Anthony Joshua. They should have put that fight up regardless. Early on, I think before DAZN came into the mix, HBO was picking up a couple of Dillian Whyte's fights. They picked up the Lucas Brown fight. It did horrible ratings. And I think they might have picked up, they picked up that fight. That might have been the only fight they picked up. It did horrible ratings, and HBO didn't revisit Dillian Whyte fight after that. So Dillian Whyte has shown that he's not a draw here in the United States. He is a draw, a decent draw in the UK, but he's not a draw here in the United States. And it's just kind of funny to me that DAZN hasn't even picked up his fight coming up on August 22nd against Alexander Povetkin live from Eddie Hearn's backyard. It's crazy. It's crazy out here. It's crazy out here. But you UK fans swear up and down that Dillian Whyte is a top, is a draw. He's this, he's that, and he's the third. But in actuality, he's a regional fighter. He's a UK fighter. Nothing more, nothing less. He don't have any kind of drawing power outside of the UK. That's why DAZN here in the United States is not eager to pick up his fight with Povetkin, and they haven't been eager to pick up past fights involving Dillian Whyte because he's just not a draw. That's just the fact of the matter. I don't hate the messenger. Don't hate the message. Don't hate the message. You know what I'm saying? Just because you don't like the messenger. Our UK fans gonna come out here and say, "Oh, JB Sports, you just hate. You don't know what you're talking about. You this, you that. You talking crazy. Dillian Whyte deserves his shot." And I just got through telling you guys, he does deserve his shot at the title. But for you to think that he's just some big name, he's some big draw, that's just not the case, man. He's the number 1 mandatory in the WBC. He's got a fight against Povetkin. There's a fight that's going to take place live from Eddie Hearn's backyard. And it's a fight that's not going to have any fans. And it's a fight that, at this point, DAZN hasn't even picked up. So you put that in your pipe and smoke it. And just take that for what it is. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I just ran across that last night. I was like, what? DAZN ain't even picked this fight up? Sky Sports pay-per-view haven't even picked this fight up? This fight is on Sky Sports Online. Now, maybe it'll change, just like the Chisora rematch changed. DAZN picked that fight up at the last minute. Let's see if they do the same with Dillian Whyte and Povetkin. But my question is, why they didn't pick the fight up at first? It's a decent fight. It's a fight involving one guy that's to me in the top 6 in boxing heavyweights in Dillian Whyte. Top 6. I wouldn't say top 5. I put Luis Ortiz over him. He's definitely in the top 6. Let me just run down my top 4. Fury, Wilder, Joshua, Ortiz, and Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte top 5. Now that I think about it, I just did it off the top of my head. He's top 5. And then you got Povetkin, who's probably in the top 10. He's a top 10 fighter. If somewhere toward 9 or 10, you probably put Povetkin right there. So it's a decent fight. But DAZN obviously don't at this point don't feel that way. That's why they haven't picked the fight up. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Just find it curious that Dillian Whyte versus Alexander Povetkin is going to be on Sky Sports Online, not Sky Sports pay-per-view. That's for you fans in the UK. You want to go online and pick that fight up. And then DAZN hasn't picked the fight up here in the United States. So to this point, they've shown no interest in the fight. So let me know what you think about that in the comment section. Dillian Whyte versus Alexander Povetkin, and why DAZN hasn't picked that up. And as we know, DAZN has been having money problems. They furloughed a lot of employees here recently, so they've got a lot of money problems. There's been speculation that they're going broke. They're losing a lot of money. Another thing, Canelo Alvarez got a fight coming up in September. He's guaranteed $35 million. They're looking for a cheaper opponent for his September 12th fight coming up. And even though they're looking for a cheap opponent, they're still going to have to pay his opponent, even the cheapest opponent, around $5-6 million. So that's costing DAZN a lot of money. So they know they got a lot of money tied up in Canelo Alvarez's next fight. Maybe that's the reason why, which is going to be, 2 or 3 weeks later, 2 or 3 weeks after the Dillian Whyte Alexander Povetkin fight on August 22nd. So maybe that's the reason why they don't want to maybe broadcast that fight. They're gonna have all that money focusing on Canelo Alvarez's fight on September 12th. So that's the reason why they haven't opted to broadcast to this point the Dillian Whyte Alexander Povetkin fight. Money woes going on at DAZN, and that's one of the reasons why that they haven't picked up this fight. And maybe won't pick this fight up. We'll see what happens in the future, man. But all these things are coming out, and all these things are playing a part in Dillian Whyte versus Alexander Povetkin fight on August 22nd. Let me know what you think in the comment section. This is JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. Holla.